to GNY Sports, the first episode of the new year. Happy New Year to you and yours. Mike Brindisi with you on this side quest of Good News York. That's right. Good News York is our comedy / current events news podcast. It airs Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Matt Mazer and I. And you can find that at Good News York on all socials or goodnewsyork.com. And this is Good News York Sports. GNY Sports airs once a week. And you can also find that at Good News York and goodnewsyork.com. You can follow me on socials at Mike B TV. Let's get right into it. Wild card weekend's coming up in the NFL. Going to talk a lot about that. And I always start the show with a Bills rant or rave, and 9 times out of 10, it's a rant. Today, I'm not going to do that today because something overshadowed even the playoffs starting this week. This past weekend, it was the last game at Highmark Stadium, or maybe you know it as the Ralph Wilson Stadium, or depending on what generation you're from, maybe even you call it Rich Stadium. And I do love that, by the way. Either way, it was the last game, and as much as it was an uneventful game because it was week 18, Bills were resting their starters, it didn't mean much. It actually allowed for the broadcast, the players, the fans, everybody involved to just focus on the stadium itself. And I spent a ton of time in that stadium, which I refer to as the Ralph. And that's because I had season tickets. But I had season tickets in the absolute worst period of time you could have had season tickets. The doldrums, the dungeon, the basement of the playoff drought, the 17-year playoff drought to be exact. I got my season tickets in 2007, and I stopped in 2017. That's right. I got them right around the time, just in time for JP Lossman and the crew, and I got rid of them right around the time Alan McDermott and Bean came in. Now, I didn't get rid of them on purpose, per se. Well, I mean, I did. See, what happened was there was about 10, 15 of us that would travel from Ithaca, and we had the biggest tailgates. We all had season tickets in section 119, corner end zone, tunnel side. Tickets were dirt cheap, by the way, because, well, it was a different time in Bills, but they were god awful. And so we would have these amazing tailgates and all these amazing experiences at the game. And then slowly everybody got a family or moved away. And I think the last tailgate I was at, I looked around, it was me and 2 of my sister's friends. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Little did I know the next year, Bean, McDermott, and Allen would come along like beautiful little angels, dressed like buffaloes in diapers floating down. It was, but either way, now I still go to at least 3 games a year, usually 1 or 2 season games and then a playoff game. But I wanted to talk about some of the times I got to experience at the Ralph, as I call it. And let's start with the bad. We'll just get that out of the way. First of all, I was there for the Kevin Everett game in 2007. It was Broncos, Bills, opening kickoff. I believe he was a tight end on special teams, got hit, immediately went down, and was paralyzed. I do think he was able to walk again. I'm not sure if he fully recovered, but that was a moment where football, I mean, and we're talking opening kickoff. You want to talk about the wind being sucked out. It was it was a really terrible thing to be a part of, but at the same time, it was a beautiful thing because the whole stadium came together, Broncos fans, Bills fans, and it became about humanity instead of, football. I was there in 2007 for the Monday Night Football letdown when Tony Romo threw 5 interceptions. The Bills had done everything right to win that game, Monday Night Football, their first primetime game, and I don't know how long, and they lost it in the last-second field goal right in front of me. And I cried as a grown man. Not really grown, I'm 5'6", but you know what I'm saying. I was also there when Stevie Johnson dropped the pass in the end zone, and he later tweeted that day he was asking God why he did that to him. Fast forward to the next day, Adam Schefter tweets about it really late, and Del Reed, who I've had on Good News York, he's a Bills Mafia Don, was the one that wrote Adam Schefter on Twitter making fun of him, saying, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is old news. And suddenly the hashtag Bills Mafia came about and Bills Mafia was born. So I was at the game where he dropped the pass, but it was also the game where Bills Mafia was born. So I guess that's good and bad. And then, of course, I was there for some like random stuff. But first, let's do the good. I was there for the home opener I want to say it was 2013, maybe 14, where Stevie Johnson caught the final pass from E.J. Manuel, who we thought was going to be the future. In the corner of the end zone, I'm running down, banging on the mats. They win the game. It happened right in front of me. And to this day, the NFL network cameras, the NFL caught me doing that, hat sideways like I'm in the Beastie Boys. And to this day, they use it as anytime there's packages, not every time, but sometimes when there's packages about the Bills, or in random commercials, they'll show that clip of me. I was there in 2014, Bills-Vikings. We're on a 3rd and long. Kyle Orton throws a bomb to Chris Hogan, who jumps in the air, catches it, sets up a 4th down, game-winning touchdown to Sammy Watkins in the end zone. They beat the Vikings by 1 point. I was also there for the Bills-Dolphins playoff game in 23 or 24. There was one in both, but I forget which one I was at. That was absolutely amazing. And I got to mention the absolute greatest game I had ever been to in the history of that stadium. People are talking about what's the best game, what's the best moment in that stadium. It was 2011. The Patriots, who had owned us for decades, actually it wasn't decades up at that point, but it soon would be. We had not beat the Patriots at home in something crazy like 14 seasons or something like that. And the Patriots were up like 21-0 or something, and then just like the Bills now, Fitzy leads to a huge comeback in the end. It was the game where Belichick comes out arguing with the refs, and asshole chant started. I was the one that started it. I know I have no proof, but I'm telling you, I was the one that started that chant. Might have been the one where the sex toy was thrown on the field too. Either way, they end up last minute coming back, beating the Patriots for the first time in 14 seasons. Sad, yes, but it was like our Super Bowl. Not only did we experience that, I mean, we by the way, there were sheriff's deputies lining the field because they knew if they win this game, they might rush the field, and we almost did. Later that night, my buddy and I went to the hotel after the game, showered, changed, and went and saw the Foo Fighters at the Sabres Arena. I definitely shaved at least 10 years off of my life in one day, but that was probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite moment in the stadium. I was also there for a couple rando things. The first game I had ever gone to was like 2005, I think, or 6. They had a Saturday night game against the Broncos. And this was the one and only time where I saw an entire section get kicked out of the stadium. And they stopped serving beer after the first quarter. That's right. I was up in the 300s, where during the drought, man, the 300s now, you go up there, and you can say what you want about being that high up, but you can see the whole field, and there's something special about that. But at the same time, back in the playoff drought days, that's where all the ne'er-do-wells went to beat each other's asses. They'd buy last-minute tickets in the parking lot, get hammered, and go. They didn't have anything to cheer for, so it was like I went to a party and a football game broke out. So I looked over in the 300 section, and 2 sections over, all I saw were people fighting and the green and orange jacket security just swarming the area, breaking it up. They kicked the entire section out, and then they made an announcement, we're going to stop serving alcohol. This is in the first quarter. It was madness. I was also there. It was a Jets-Bills game. Again, middle of the drought. We were blowing the Jets out. And back then, Bills fans didn't know what the hell to do when we were blowing another team out because we're not used to it. And I remember looking over and like way up in the 300s on the other side of the stadium, I saw all this commotion. Got home later that night, come to find out, some dude decided to slide down a railing, fell all the way below to the next section, ended up, thankfully, not killing anybody, but seriously injuring somebody. He ended up getting arrested, lost his job. I'm assuming he went to the hospital. That was crazy. And then there was a special game it was a season where the Bills weren't going to make the playoffs, obviously. So it was the last game of the season, and it was a blizzard. But I remember it was against Indianapolis. This is when Peyton Manning was on the team. They were playing for something, and I don't remember what it was. I don't know if they were going to be undefeated or something with Peyton, and then they ended up, sitting Peyton at halftime. It was a big game for them, but certainly not for the Bills. And the only way I can describe it is that it was like the last day of school. Remember last day of school, before a break or maybe before the year's over, and it was just a party. Teachers didn't give a shit what you were doing. People were just like throwing snowballs. Security was like, meh. It was, you sat wherever you wanted. The stadium bench, the bleacher seats were covered in snow. You just had to wipe it off. I remember pulling into the parking lot before that game to the tailgate, and there was a girl sitting in a trunk. The trunk was open, sitting in there with a heater, drinking. I mean, it was special, man. And then, of course, I've been to Hammerlot. Now, the Hammerlot, I'm not going to go into a whole story about the Hammerlot, but Pinto Ron's tailgate. This is a dude who has driven his red Pinto to every game since the 80s, away and home, and hosts a tailgate, Pinto Ron's tailgate, in the Hammerlot. And they cook hot dogs off of the engine, hamburgers off of the engine. I've got pictures of it. They cook pizza in filing cabinets. Why? I have no idea. And then, of course, at noon, an hour before the game, they douse him in mustard and ketchup because that just seems like the thing you're supposed to do. I don't know why they do that, but who cares? It's amazing, and it's the Bills. And then lastly, one of the coolest things I got to experience was actually last season, the 24 season. A buddy of mine asked me, and maybe I'll play it at the end of this episode. He's also a musician like me, and he said, "Hey, I'm writing some Bills Mafia anthems, some songs for Bills Mafia, just for fun. It's a side project. We'll call ourselves the K-Gun, which is the name of Jim Kelly's offense in the 90s. Do you want to co-write and sing on these songs with me?" I said, "Sure." And we wrote Where Else, Marv's Anthem. Basically a tribute to Bills Mafia using the famous saying from Marv Levy, which was, "Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?" And they do that every pregame in the stadium. And we wrote the song, recorded the song, and then we came up to the home opener against the Cardinals in 24, and we shot the music video for it. So sorry about my ramble there, but you know what? I don't care. I didn't get to be at the last game. This was more for me. This is for me. I wanted to just kind of go through that and talk about some of my experiences at the stadium, and it's going to be so missed. But at the same time, I'm excited for the new stadium. Moving on, let's go to the Week 18 recap of the NFL games that we saw, some of them. Now, most not that interesting, and that's what you're going to get in Week 18, right? You got some games that were basically playoff games, winning in, and then you got a bunch of games that didn't matter for much. But let's talk about the games that did matter. That Steelers-Ravens game, a win and in. And boy, did it not disappoint. The game was sloppy. Both teams did not look great. And then all of a sudden, with about 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, shit got real. Rodgers started looking a little bit like the old Rodgers. Lamar started looking like Lamar before he was really kind of unhealthy this season. I got to tell you, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that the Ravens were going to win that game. So I thought. Now, obviously, Tyler Loop missed the field goal, 40-something yard field goal to lose at the end. But for the most part, I would say the Ravens were the better team, as much as the Ravens have struggled. Derrick Henry started looking like he was going to run away with the rushing title and take out James Cook in the first half, and then he disappeared, which seems to be a theme with the Ravens. It's like they get the run game going, and then they go, but what fun is that? Let's do something different. But I got to tell you, man, congrats to the Steelers and the Steelers fans for another mediocre season where your coach gets to say he's 500 or a little bit better for the 19th season in a row or whatever it is. Just in time for you to be knocked out first round in the playoffs. Because I will tell you what, put any amount of money you want on it, the Steelers will be out first round just like they are every year. I've never seen a team that has squeaked by in every possible way in the regular season just to get knocked out first round. And Tomlin keeps getting praised for that. Now, the one thing that Tomlin truthers will tell you is, well, look, he's got a winning record every season. Yes, but as I just said, he hasn't won a playoff game in 10 years or more. On top of that, the Super Bowls that he did win, you could argue he was inheriting some of Bill Cowher's regime. So I just feel like the dude gets more credit than he should. He's not aggressive. They are constantly punting it on fourth down when at times when I think they should be going for it. Their defense, which was supposed to be legendary this season, was average at best. I feel bad for the Ravens fans because they're kind of going through what Bills fans have gone through, minus the Super Bowl part of it, 4 straight Super Bowl losses. And then since Allen's been here, it's like they fall short every year in the playoffs to the Chiefs. And if you really look back at the Ravens, the last few seasons, it's been heartbreak. Just in recent memory, last year was the drop pass by Mark Andrews, and this year it's the missed field goal by Tyler Loop. I think the Ravens should have won that game, but they didn't, and the Steelers will move on. But I can tell you, not one person is fearing the Steelers in the playoffs. Not the fans, not the players. And as far as Tyler Loop goes, I just want to say, man, he's getting death threats, which I think is absolutely insane for the obvious reason, but also because, Bills Mafia, how many times have we seen a wide right, Tyler Bass, or obviously Norwood back in the day, or we've seen heartbreaking last-minute losses, 13 seconds. Not once, not ever, have Bills fans ever made death threats on their players. They haven't even really attacked them verbally on social media, maybe a little bit. There's always a few bad apples, but it just seems so foreign to me to do that to your players, and especially in your community. So I knock this shit off, man. You don't think that dude feels bad enough? He's a young kid with a young wife, and she's getting death threats, which is even more insane. So, I don't know, Ravens fans. Awful. Moving on, also in Week 18, we saw the 49ers against the rival Seattle Seahawks. That was as big a game as, that was a playoff game. And I'll tell you what, the Niners did not show up. And the only thing I can think of, and I'm not making excuses, maybe it's because they had played 3 games in 13 days. Because the team I saw the week before was crisp, sharp, Brock Purdy scrambling around like he's Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Mahomes. It was absolutely insane, putting up 40-something points. Boy, did they lay a big old fat crap against the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks defense, don't get me wrong, the Seahawks defense is nothing to shake a stick at. They're fantastic. But as fantastic as they are, I don't see the Niners being that bad. A lot of injuries. I know that's part of it. Don't like to use that as an excuse, but I'm not sure what happened there. But I will say this. Even though, and Darnold was pretty clutch, there were moments, if you remember in the beginning of the game, he missed a wide open pass that would have been a touchdown to, I believe, Zach Charbonnet, who was running a route into the flat and had a wide open look right into the end zone. I don't know what Darnold was looking at, but it just reminded me, take away that they won that game. One of the main reasons I don't trust the Seahawks in the playoffs, which is crazy because I think they're one of the most complete teams in the NFL, is that I just don't think Darnold can handle pressure. Now, I know he won against the Niners. That's fine. But the example in the beginning of the Niners game, that mental error, we saw his playoff run with the Vikings last year. Amazing regular season. I think he had 13, 14 wins with the Vikings. Completely buckles under pressure in the playoffs with the Vikings. And then this year, again, 13, 14 wins with the Seahawks. And what are we going to get? Are we going to get regular season Darnold? Or are we going to get can't handle the pressure playoff Darnold? We shall see. I want to talk about, the sack record. Congratulate Myles Garrett. I wish he was on another team so it had been a little more meaningful or a little bit more televised, but we got to see somebody break the sack record in the NFL, the season record of 22.5 sacks. And people are kind of complaining that Burrow kind of turtled up and fell down. Some are saying, well, he's always gone on record saying he loves Myles Garrett and, he knew he was going for the record and he kind of gave him a hand, kind of like Favre did that. But I think there's more to it. I think that's always a possibility. There's no way to prove it. But I also think if you watch the play again, I think he's like, fuck this. It's week 18. Nothing matters this week. I'm not getting blasted by Myles Garrett. He knew he was coming. I'm just going to get down. Now, for some of you that are erring on the side of, why would Burrow do that? If I was Strahan, I would be pissed. He gave it to him. I wouldn't look at that sack. I'd look at the game against the Bills Cleveland played 2 weeks ago when they gave Garrett a half a sack for just touching him like that. I mean, it was a very weird way that it happened. So I wouldn't put the blame on Burrow, and it was cool to see anyway. Now, let's talk about the Falcons and the Panthers. I want to wrap up the Week 18 recap with that. Bucs, Saints, Falcons, and Panthers. The NFC South, Toilet Bowl division. A division where we knew the winner would have a losing record. That's the way the NFL is set up. I talked about it a week ago or 2 weeks ago when I said there's an argument that the NFL wants to start doing it like the NHL and the NBA, where it's just conferences and the top 7 go to the playoffs. Which then the counter argument to that, one of them is that, well, then the divisions don't matter. The Bucs had to have the Saints win, and the Panthers were hoping that the Falcons would win. And sure enough, the Falcons did deliver. I just want to say, as I did with the Steelers, congratulations to the Panthers. You've won your division, but will undoubtedly be eliminated first round of the playoffs against the Rams. And not just because it's the Rams, because it's the NFC South. All right, let's look ahead to the playoffs this coming weekend. Let's start in the NFC. You've got the LA Rams versus Carolina. What's there to talk about? Bye-bye, Carolina. I'm sorry. You can hate on me all you want. It's not even because they got into the playoffs with a losing record, a below 500 record. Just with your eyes, watch them play. There's absolutely no way that they have a shot against the Rams. And if I'm wrong, I will eat my words. And you can make fun of me all you want. But for me, that is the easiest pick in all of the playoffs to start. I think LA, all of a sudden, over the last few weeks, has slipped a little bit. They're not as sharp. I was very surprised. Maybe Devontae Adams being out makes that big of a difference. But either way, Sean McVay is a good enough coach to correct that. And for me, the MVP of the season is Matt Stafford. And a seasoned vet like that, who's probably a future Hall of Famer, they're going to get right on track. That should be no problem. San Francisco versus Philly. Now, I am definitely leaning towards San Francisco. Here's one guarantee I can give you for that game. Nick Sirianni will be a total douche during that game at some point, if not throughout the whole game. That's the one guarantee. But the matchup is a coin flip for me. It's funny because the 49ers have a great offense and not a great defense. The Eagles have a terrible offense, but a really good defense. So it's a coin flip. Barkley is not only not having the year he had last year, the team as a whole is not having a great year rushing. They're in the bottom 10, if not the bottom 5 in rushing. The passing game is spotty. They've got great receivers. They've got great pass catchers. But you got to get after Jalen Hurts. And that's what worries me about them is that 49ers can't get home. Nick Bosa's not in. Their pass rush is non-existent. And with a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, that's such a big part of it because you've got great receivers. And if you don't have a great secondary, the Niners don't, what do you want to do? You want that defensive line to disrupt the quarterback so that the secondary you don't have to rely on very much. So that's going to have to be a key for the 49ers is really getting after Jalen Hurts, flushing him out of the pocket, and making him work for it. And as far as Philly goes, the main X factor on that San Francisco offense, other than Brock Purdy, pound for pound, is McCaffrey. When you look back and you go, man, McCaffrey had a great year, and then, all of a sudden he just kind of took a dip down one season. This is the season that's going to cause him that dip. They are putting so much mileage on him. He is a wide receiver, a running back. He's blocking. He's doing it all. And they are going to need him. And so maybe it was good that he had a bad last game because McCaffrey, for me, is the X factor. And then lastly in the NFC, we've got Green Bay and Chicago. This is the gift that keeps on giving because it is one of the most storied rivals in football. And this is going to be their third time playing. They've split. Now, here's the thing. I love the offensive matchup. You've got Ben Johnson against Matt LaFleur. Two offensive gurus. Jordan Love, Caleb Williams. This could be a huge game offensively. Now, you got no Micah Parsons for Green Bay. Obviously, we know that hurts them. That goes without saying. For me, the X factor is not just Caleb Williams. It's the space between Caleb Williams' ears. Coming out of the draft, I said Caleb Williams looks as close to Patrick Mahomes as I've seen anyone look since Mahomes came along. He can run. He can sling it. He's gotten so much better at decision making, and all of that is clearly because of Ben Johnson. But the one thing I always notice, and the reason why Ben Johnson has been flourishing with him, is that Ben Johnson's hard on him and not afraid to reel him in. And my biggest knock on Caleb Williams is just that, which is he's just been immature. When he's at press conferences, the things he's saying, you can tell it's things he's been taught to say, or he's performative of sorts. I'm not saying he's a phony. I'm just saying I think he's saying the things he's supposed to say as opposed to what he wants to say. I think he's got a short fuse. I think he has a tough time handling losses, i.e., crawling in his mom's arms in the stands, which I don't fault him for. I love that moment. It was sweet. Some people did. I just think he's got a lot of maturity to do mentally. But Ben Johnson coming along, we've already seen a major growth maturity-wise in him, football maturity, and off-the-field maturity as well. So for me, can he show up in the playoffs? This is going to be the first time we see it, the first time he's experiencing it, the first time in a long time Chicago fans are experiencing it. Will Caleb Williams maximize his talent, which is top tier when it's at its best, by just making the right decisions and being mentally mature for the game? We shall see. Moving on to the AFC, you've got the LA Chargers versus the New England Patriots. For me, I think the teams are fairly evenly matched, X's and O's wise. And when that happens, I always go next to coaches. It's coach versus coach, right? And 9 times out of 10, you're like, well, this coach is way better of a coach than this guy. Listen, Mike Vrabel, he took the Titans with Tannehill to the AFC Championship. He goes to New England and turns the franchise around within a year. He's a fantastic coach. He was a fantastic player. But then you've got Jim Harbaugh. Hello? To me, Jim Harbaugh is one of the greatest coaches in all of sports of all time. That's right. All that guy does is win no matter where he goes. And he's got his faults. But coach versus coach, that's a coin flip too for me. Now, the major knock I see for the Chargers, their O-line is banged up. And that's a huge problem. But the good news is, New England defensive line isn't something to be too scared about. Their pass rush is not something to worry about. So for me, that's a wash. So the next thing you got to go to is May versus Herbert. And for me, it's Jekyll and Hyde with Herbert. Sometimes he looks to me like an elite talent who could go all the way. And sometimes he looks to me like last year when he threw like 1 interception throughout the whole season and then threw like 4 in a game. Kind of like what I was saying with Caleb Williams. I don't know what you're going to get. So it depends on who shows up on that side of the ball for the Chargers. If Herbert, he's fully healthy and he can play at the level we know he can, that's a different story. And Drake May, he's young. He's a second-year quarterback. Arguably could be the NFL MVP this year. What's he going to look like for his first time in the NFL playoffs? Will he be as calm and poised in the pocket as he has been all year long? Because let's be honest, get the schedule that you're given. So I'm not going to say they played a soft schedule. They're not good. They're a good team. I mean, they've got 14 wins. They're the 2 seed. I mean, they had probably the weakest, if not second weakest schedule in the league. And in the playoffs, everybody's good. So for me, if Drake May can play like he's been playing all season long, Patriots could win that game. They have the edge for me. And we will see. And the run game needs to happen for the Chargers, whether it's Hampton or Vidal Sassoon. If you don't look good, we don't look good. ADHD. I think because of the O-line situation, and we don't know how Herbert's going to look, they're going to have to get that run game going more than New England would have to. Pittsburgh versus Houston. Rodgers Good luck, Godspeed, my friend. You're 42 years old, and you're facing one of the scariest defensive lines we've seen in a long time. And Stroud is back. He's been back. He's a game manager. With that defensive line, the Bills lost to the Texans with Davis Mills because of that defensive line. I just don't see Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh being able to keep up. He shouldn't even been in the playoffs to begin with. The whole way they got in was a fluke. They're always mediocre, and they always lose first round under Tomlin. If you don't believe me, read the papes. It's happened the last 10 years. And then Buffalo versus Jacksonville. I'll close it with this. I'm going to be really honest. I don't feel good about it. Their DBs against their wide receivers, I mean, ever since they traded for Jacoby Myers, I'm not saying it's Jacoby Myers that has made this big of a difference, but that's when all of a sudden the switch flipped, and they look like the most complete team in the NFL, as well as the team that is the hottest right now. And Liam Cohen, what he has done, the reason I made a bid for him a couple episodes ago for Coach of the Year is for exactly what he has done for Trevor Lawrence. Because this version of Trevor Lawrence is the Trevor Lawrence that everybody was raving about coming out of the draft. And we didn't know. He's not really a bust, but he's not really playing elite. What is he? And I said last year, like, this has got to be the year we find out, is Trevor Lawrence a franchise quarterback or not? Well, guess what? He is. And the reason why I think Liam Cohen should be in the running for Coach of the Year, if he doesn't win it, is look what he has finally been able to do. Look how many coordinators and coaches Trevor Lawrence has had. How many opportunities he's had to flourish, and he hasn't. And now look. And it's not just because of Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers helps because now it frees up Ryan Thomas Jr. and Parker Washington and even Brendan Straige, their tight end. They're loaded. And they've got a really good defense as well. The Bills, Max Hairston's not going to play. I don't like the Bills' DBs against the Jacksonville's wide receivers, but I love Coach McDermott and I love his defense. And they're always in it. They're always bend, don't break, and they're always good at takeaways. Now, another thing that Jacksonville has been good at is stopping the run. The only way the Bills have gotten as far as they've gotten is because of the run game. The games where they lost, or games where they almost lost, were because that team shut down the run game. And I just don't know if Brady has an answer to counter that with these wide receivers in the way he uses them and in the talent that they have. I'd like to see a little bit more spread formation. Personally, there's a lot of things I'd like to see. So my thing is, if they can't get Cook going, will they have a counter for that? I think Dalton Kincaid is going to be and has to be the X factor. When he is in the game, talk about a difference in the passing game. It is incredible. Dawson Knox has stepped it up in Kincaid's absence. I'm telling you right now, if they have any chance of winning that game offensively, especially if they can't get the run game going, it's got to be Kincaid. Another thing that's not good is the kicker is hurt. And I don't know what you do. Matt Prater is hurt. Tyler Bass has been hurt. Do you bring in Young Woo Koo or whatever his name is, the guy that stuck his foot in the ground when he played for the Giants a few weeks back? That was one of the most embarrassing moments in NFL history. I don't know. Because here's the thing. You don't want to go into the playoffs without a kicker, without a reliable kicker. Because look what happened to the Ravens. And also, hello, it's the Bills. We know what wide right means. We don't need that shit. So I'm curious to see. Maybe we'll see someone do a drop kick field goal like Bledsoe did with the Patriots back in the day. I don't know. But that's another thing I don't feel good about in this matchup. And also, the Bills are not good in Jacksonville. Allen's 2-2 against Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville, to me, like, I remember when the Chicago Cubs, the year they won the World Series, about a quarter of the way through the season, I just felt it. Just like when the Red Sox did it in 2004. I don't know, man. This is like one of those destiny seasons. I just feel like they're going to do it. And Jacksonville's giving me this destiny vibe with the way they've been playing, the story behind it. It scares me. But here's what I do like for the Bills. I love that they didn't win the division for one reason. They got a week off last week. Time to heal, time to reset, and also, if you know anything about Joshua Allen, when he plays pissed off, he is unstoppable, especially in the playoffs. The last play that he was involved in at the Ralph was that missed throw to Shakir to lose the game and miss the 2-point conversion. And I love that he's going to go into the playoffs pissed off with a week's rest. And for that, with McDermott's coaching style and his defense that he always brings into the playoffs, mixed with Allen being pissed off and the elite quarterback that he is, that gives me hope that they could win this game. And I'll do this each week. For Wild Card Weekend, I'm going to pick my Super Bowl pick. Next week, when we cover that round of the playoffs, I'll give my Super Bowl pick. Right now, today, I am going to say that in Wild Card Weekend, if I had to pick today who I think is going to go to the Super Bowl, it is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the LA Rams. And lastly, before we go, make sure you head to our social media at Good News York. My sweatpants pick of the week is up. That is, if you were wearing sweatpants this weekend and you could only watch one game, no matter what game it is, what sport it is, what game would it be? Is it NBA? Is it one of the playoff games? Is it hockey? Head to Good News York or at Good News York on all social media. Vote now your sweatpants selection of the week. My name is Mike Brindisi. You can follow me on all socials at Mike B TV. And if you enjoy GNY Sports or Good News York, you can watch and follow both shows, Good News York and GNY Sports, on all of our socials at Good News York, goodnewsyork.com. See you next week. Go Bills.